Honestly, he forgot about you. My cousin explained when I asked why I was left out of my brother's event. Honestly? He forgot about you. That's what my cousin told me when I asked why I hadn't been invited to the party. No hesitation, no sugarcoating. Meanwhile, I was gliding through the Rockies on a luxury train, gazing out the window at snow-dusted peaks. They, on the other hand, had been watching everything burn. He forgot about you? Sophie echoed, barely glancing up from her phone. Her tone was as indifferent as if we were talking about the weather. I mean, it's been a while, right? He'd been in London. People change. I blinked. He forgot about me. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video so you don't miss any interesting stories. So let's continue. Sophie finally looked up, but only for a second, like my reaction was an inconvenience. It's not that deep, Jake. You weren't on the list. It happens. No apology. No sympathy. Just the bare fact. Ethan had come back from university in London last week. My baby brother. The one I practically raised. The one whose rent I covered when he moved out. The one I wired money to every month when our parents decided they couldn't afford to support him overseas. The same Ethan who called me in a panic after his second exam. Convinced he'd failed, and I stayed up the whole night talking him down. I paid for his phone plan so he could stay connected with his fiancée across the ocean. I filled out half his immigration paperwork because he couldn't stand dealing with forms. I even sold my vintage guitar to help him put down a deposit on his student flat. And he forgot about me. The party was all over social media. A catered garden reception at our parents' house. String lights, a champagne tower, someone playing the saxophone. Everyone was there. Uncles and cousins I hadn't seen in years. Even that neighbor Ethan used to despise as a kid. Everyone but me. I wasn't invited. The captions hit like a gut punch. So proud of our golden boy. Welcome home, Ethan. Your family loves you. My name? Not a single mention. Not in the speeches. Not in the posts. Not even in the photos. I closed the app. My phone buzzed. A new notification. Another party post. I turned it off. That night, I booked a first-class ticket on a luxury train ride through the Rockies. Window carriage. Private suite. Multi-course dinner. Silence. I didn't tell anyone. Just packed a bag and left the next morning. No texts, no explanations. And nobody noticed. While they toasted Ethan with champagne, I sipped black coffee in a leather seat, watching the sun spill over the snowy peaks. The train hummed beneath me, a quiet secret, and the silence was more meaningful than any speech. If you don't make the guest list, you make your own plans. You were the one who wanted to help. No one forced you. That's what my mother said when I asked why I hadn't been invited. Let me take you back. When Ethan got into grad school in London, our parents couldn't stop bragging. Our youngest is going international. They said it at every family dinner, every group call. Ethan was the genius, the golden child. And me? I was just the stage crew, out of sight, essential but never acknowledged. Who filled out his visa paperwork when he couldn't make sense of the legal jargon. Me. Who wired the first semester's deposit while our parents swore their bank accounts were frozen. Me. Who stayed up until 3 a.m. refreshing embassy forms because Ethan lost his passport right before finals. Me. I never complained. I handled it all because I loved my brother. Or maybe, deep down, I was just hoping someone would finally say, Jake, we see you. We appreciate you. Instead, all I got was silence. Or worse, guilt-tripping. You're the oldest, Dad reminded me one night. It's your job to help your brother get on his feet. My job? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. He's 24, not 14. Mom cut in before I could say more. You don't have a family of your own, she said matter-of-factly. It's not like you have other obligations. That one landed harder than I let on. She wasn't wrong. No wife, no kids. Just a small apartment, a steady paycheck, and a silence that settled in beside me at night like an old habit. I told myself that supporting Ethan gave my life meaning. Every bank transfer, every favor, it was proof I was useful, that I mattered to someone. So when he left for London, I didn't just wave goodbye. I became his behind-the-scenes fixer, his therapist, his emergency fund. When he called me in tears because his long-distance fiancée was thinking of leaving him, I didn't just offer advice. I booked her a flight. That's not a metaphor. I spent $1,400 on a ticket and told her it was from him so he wouldn't feel ashamed. They made up. She posted a reel with soft lighting and a caption that read, "When he does everything to make it work." Of course, when he lost his internship and freaked out about making rent, guess who covered it? I drained part of my emergency fund, the one I'd been saving for a condo down payment, and told him, "Don't worry, just focus on school." But the more I gave, the less I heard from him. Our conversations shrank from full paragraphs to one-word replies. Then to nothing at all. My name stopped coming up in family updates. I didn't even know he was coming home until Sophie mentioned it offhand at brunch. "Oh yeah, Ethan gets in next week," she said, dipping her toast into the yolk. "There's a huge thing planned." I nearly choked on my coffee. A huge thing. Yeah, backyard reception, garden lights, open bar, live music. Like a whole vibe. I blinked. No one had told me. Sophie hesitated. Like she just realized she'd said too much. "I'm sure you're invited," she added quickly. "You must be." But I wasn't. A week passed.
No invité.
No call. Nothing. So I caved and texted Mom. "Hey, what's the plan for Ethan's return? Want me to help set up?" She took 4 hours to reply. "Oh, it's mostly under control. We thought you were busy with work." Busy with work. I stared at the message for a long time. That was it. "No, we'd love for you to come early. No, Ethan can't wait to see you. Just we assumed." That night, I showed the text to my friend Maya. She read it twice, then set my phone down carefully. "You know they're icing you out, right?" "I'm the one who helped him survive London," I said, as if that counted for something. "Exactly," she said. "And now he doesn't need you. That's why this is happening." Still, I held on to a sliver of hope. The night of the party, I dressed like I might still get a last-minute invite. Kept my phone close, just in case. But nothing came. Instead, I watched the Instagram stories roll in. Ethan hugging our parents under golden string lights. Ethan slow dancing with his fiancée to live saxophone music. Ethan raising a toast while Dad clapped like he'd just won Father of the Year. Sophie posted a group photo with the caption, "The people who matter most." I wasn't in it. I never call Sophie, which is probably why she answered right away. "Hey Jake, what's up? Why wasn't I invited?" Silence. "Sophie," she sighed. "I don't know. Maybe you should talk to Ethan. Did you know before?" A longer pause. Then, with no real emotion, she said, "Honestly, he just forgot about you." Just like that. I hung up before she could add anything else.
No tears. No anger.
Just a strange kind of clarity. I opened my laptop, went to the Via Rail website, and booked something I'd been eyeing for years. A luxury train ride across the Canadian Rockies. For days. Glass-domed carriages. Gourmet dining. No phone service. No family. The confirmation email popped up, and for the first time in months, I felt something close to peace. They had their guest list. I made my own. The day after I boarded the train, everything back home started unraveling. Both metaphorically and, as I'd later find out, almost literally. But I didn't know that yet. At that moment, I was somewhere between Jasper and Kamloops, stretched out in a glass-domed carriage, sipping red wine while the sunlight poured over the Rockies. The silence wasn't empty. It was the kind that holds your grief for you, giving you just enough space to breathe. Then my phone buzzed. No service. Of course not. The train didn't believe in distractions, which meant I had no idea what was going down back home. Not yet. Not while I was watching golden aspen trees blur past snowy cliffs and eating duck confit off white porcelain. But they were falling apart. They'd always pegged me as the quiet one, the reliable one, the one who never lost his temper. And maybe they were right, until they made it painfully clear I didn't matter. Apparently, the chaos kicked off when Ethan's fiancée, Madeline, found out he hadn't actually paid for any of their wedding deposits. The venue, the planner, the photographer, every dime had come from the same family card our parents had given him. The one secretly linked to my bank account. I'd forgotten all about it. I'd let it happen. And now Madeline had found the bank statements while going through his laptop. She lost it because Ethan had told her his own savings had covered everything. That he was financially stable. That I had barely helped with anything. That I wasn't even that close with the family. Then she found something worse. A Google Doc. Title, Jake Emergency Plan, Worst Case Scenario. And inside, a step-by-step guide on exactly what to say if I ever called him out in public. Deflection lines. Word for word. Jake has always been dramatic. He gets jealous when I succeed. He just wants attention. I wish I was kidding. By the time I stepped off the train and got service again, my phone exploded. Texts from Mom. Voicemails from Dad. Missed calls from Sophie. One panicked message from Madeline. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. You were right about all of it." And then the family group chat. Family core. 13 members. Ethan, Jake. We need to talk. Mom. Please don't make this worse. Dad. This isn't the time for one of your speeches. Sophie. Everything's on fire. Literally. Madeline. I moved out. I'm staying at a hotel. Don't call me. I stared at the screen and laughed. It was finally happening. Then my phone rang. Grandma. I hadn't heard from her in months. But she'd always been the only one who truly saw me. She never wasted words. Never tiptoed. Jake, she said, skipping a hello. You didn't go to the party? No, I said simply. They deserved that. Pause. Would you like to come for dinner this week? Just us. I blinked. You're inviting me? Of course, she said. I'm not blind. I've been watching all of this for years. That was all I needed to hear. But the real storm hit 2 days later. By then, I was back in the city when Mom called, demanding a meeting. We need to talk this out, Jake, she said, her voice clipped. For the family. So I went. We met at the family house. The same one where Ethan's grand homecoming had taken place. Now it was eerily quiet, like someone had scrubbed every trace of the party away with bleach. When I stepped inside, the tension was thick enough to choke on. Ethan was already there, slumped in the living room, pale and silent, his hands clenched tight. Dad stood near the fireplace. Mom paced the room, arms crossed so tight it looked painful. Madeline's absence hung between them like a ghost no one wanted to name. Then Mom turned on me, hands on her hips. You've been childish, she said, like she was scolding a kid who refused to share. You made a scene by not coming. Do you have any idea how humiliating it was to explain to the guests why you weren't there? I raised an eyebrow. Humiliating for who? For us, she snapped. People asked if we had a falling out. I had to tell them you were just busy with work. Ethan finally looked up from where he sat, arms folded tight across his chest. Why are you trying to sabotage me? I let out a dry laugh. That's what he thought this was? Sabotage. I repeated. You didn't even tell me you were upset, he said. You could have just said something. I blinked at him. Oh, you mean like when I texted Mom asking if I could help with your party and she ghosted me? Or when I found out I wasn't invited from Sophie's Instagram? Across the room, Sophie, who'd been quietly sipping tea like she wished she was anywhere else, muttered. You weren't technically uninvited. I turned to her, my voice cracking. Sophie, you all knew. Ethan pushed himself up, smoothing out his shirt like he was preparing for a debate. Look, I didn't think you'd want to come. We're just in different places in life. I just finished my master's abroad. You're, still doing the same job. The same job. The one that paid for his tuition. The one that covered his rent. The one that bought his engagement ring. I stepped forward, my voice cold. Say that again, but slower. His jaw tensed. You're twisting my words. No, I said evenly. I'm just hearing them for what they are. Mom stepped between us, her voice sharp. Enough. We didn't mean to exclude you, Jake, but you've always been sensitive. There it was. The classic dismissal. Not ignored. Not used. Just sensitive. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and turned the screen toward them. $48,600. That's how much I've sent over the last 3 years, I said. Does that look sensitive to you? Silence. This is how much of my life I've handed over. Quietly. Willingly. And what did I get back? An Instagram story captioned, "The people who matter most." Dad exhaled heavily, rubbing his forehead. Let's not turn this into a drama. It is a drama, I shot back. It's your favorite genre. Starring Ethan as the golden boy, Mom as the martyr, and me. I gestured at myself, as the background extra. Silence. And then I did something I never thought I would. I walked to the mantel, picked up the framed family photo from Ethan's graduation, the one where I'd been cropped halfway out, and placed it face down. I'm done, I said, turning to them. Done helping. Done paying. Done being quiet. Mom's voice dropped to a whisper. Jake, you don't mean that. Ethan's voice cracked. You're my brother. I met his eyes. No, I was your wallet. And then I walked out. I didn't look back. Not because I didn't want to, but because I knew if I did, something in me would hesitate. Something would try to forgive. Try to slip back into silence. But that version of me didn't survive the living room that day. The quiet that followed was deafening. No missed calls. No messages. No frantic apologies. Just peace. That first night, I sat alone in my apartment and let myself feel it. The weightlessness of not carrying anyone else's life. It was strange. Almost disorienting. Like taking off a backpack I forgot I'd been wearing for 10 years. Then, on day 3, the messages began. The first message came from my mother. You made your point. Enough already. The second, from my father. Your brother's devastated. He hasn't eaten. Are you happy? I didn't reply, because I was happy. Not in a smug way. Not in a vengeful way. but in a way that felt like stepping outside after years in a basement. Sunlight on my skin, fresh air in my lungs. The irony. For the first time in my life, I didn't want to fix it. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't wonder if I'd gone too far. Instead, I started living. I took myself out for breakfast. Sat in the corner of a cafe, no phone, just a book. I walked through the park listening to jazz. I deleted the family group chat. I changed the password to the shared Netflix account. Little things, but they felt like reclaiming oxygen. Then, on the 5th day, my cousin Sophie called. I almost didn't answer. "Hey," she said softly. "Can we talk?" "About what?" "About what happened. I didn't know it would go this far." I laughed. "Go this far?" "Sophie, I wasn't invited to my own brother's party." Silence. Then a sigh. "I knew," she admitted. "I knew you weren't invited. Ethan told me not to tell you. He said, Jake won't mind. He's always busy anyway." There it was. The mask finally slipping. I didn't speak. "Madeline left him," Sophie said quickly, like pulling off a bandage. "She moved out. She found the bank records. She found out everything." I froze. She said she had no idea he used her card, or lied about it, or about the trip to France. She's furious. Says she doesn't even know who he is. Pause. She also said, "You were the only reason she gave him a second chance back then." I let the words settle in my chest. Not painful, just real. "Anyway," Sophie murmured, her voice smaller now, "I'm sorry, for playing along, for being a coward." I didn't say it's okay, because it wasn't, but I thanked her for telling the truth. The next day, my phone rang. I let it ring. Then a text. "Come for Sunday dinner. No pressure. Just talk." I didn't respond, because I wasn't ready to sit at that table again. Not as the person they used to ignore. Then, on day 7, a message from Madeline. "You were right about him. About all of it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for everything you did. I just wish I had known sooner." I stared at it for a long time. Not because it hurt, because it didn't. Felt like justice. Meanwhile, the family began to crack. My mother posted vague quotes on Facebook. "Forgiveness is divine," and "Some people just need time to grow." My father sent passive-aggressive texts. "We all have our roles in this family. Jake, you've always been the strong one." But I didn't want to be strong anymore. I just wanted to be me. So I started clearing the wreckage. I canceled the family card. Changed the autopay on Ethan's subscriptions. Removed myself from shared files, calendars, accounts. Left the group chat for good. Each action felt like a key turning in a lock. Not to shut them out, but to let me out. I spent the next few days somewhere quiet. Up in the mountains. No phone signal.
No conversations.
Just air. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about who needed something from me. I was thinking about what I needed. They thought I'd come back. They always do. That's the thing about people who use you, they assume you'll reset. That your boundaries are temporary. That your anger is just for show. That eventually you'll cool off, apologize, and slip right back into the role they cast you in. But not this time. Not after the silence. Not after the truth came out. Not after watching them squirm under the weight of the lies they built on my back. It's been a month. A full month since the party I wasn't invited to. Since I turned off the autopayments, deleted myself from their plans, and started writing my own. Since Madeline left. Since Ethan's perfect image shattered like a champagne glass on marble. And they've been trying everything. Last week, my mother left me a voicemail that started with, "I raised you better than this," and ended with, "This family is falling apart, and you're letting it happen." She's right. I am letting it happen. Because for the first time in my life, I'm choosing not to fix what I didn't break. Yesterday, my father texted me. "I hope you're proud. Your brother's depressed. Your mother cries every day." You know what's wild? They never once asked how I was doing. Not after being erased. Not after being stolen from. Not after watching them celebrate the golden sun I funded while pretending I didn't exist. But that's the point, isn't it? This was never about me. I was useful. A silent resource. A walking bank account with a familiar face. So when I disappeared, they didn't lose me. They lost access. And now they're panicking. Sophie texted me a few nights ago. "You should see the group chat now. It's chaos. Ethan won't talk to anyone. Your mom's threatening to rewrite the will. It's like you lit a match and walked away." But I didn't light the match. They did. When they left me off the guest list. When they said, "He'll get over it." When they laughed and toasted and danced, pretending I was dead weight. All I did was stop carrying their fires. The strange thing about peace is how addictive it becomes. I used to think love meant sacrifice. That family meant endurance. That being a good son, a good brother, meant swallowing disrespect for the greater good. But now, love looks like freedom. It looks like silence that heals, not silence that hides. It looks like waking up and not bracing myself for the next emotional invoice. And you know what else? I'm not bitter. That surprised me, honestly. I thought I'd be burning inside with resentment. But no, I'm done with their fire. I have something better. Stillness. Control. My own name. This morning I posted a photo from that train ride. The one with the panoramic glass and snow-capped peaks. For the caption I wrote, "If they don't put you on the guest list, make your own destination." It went a little viral. Even Madeline liked it. Sophie sent me a screenshot of the family group chat. They were losing their minds. Mom wrote, "He's mocking us publicly now." Dad replied, "Let it go. We lost him. But they didn't lose me. They never had me. They had my money, my silence, my help. But me, they never even saw. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe one day, I'll sit across from Ethan, and he'll finally say the words I deserve.
I'm sorry.
I used you. I was selfish. Maybe he won't. Either way, I'm not waiting for it. I've stopped building bridges that only I walk on. From now on, I'm building walls. Not to keep people out, but to keep myself in. To protect the parts of me that were drained dry trying to keep others comfortable. To guard the peace I bled for. To finally, unapologetically choose me.